Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and this is the next video wherein we are going to discuss about the market sentiment, that how exactly the Nifty has performed and what are the levels that we can expect in the coming days, and what was the overall sentiment of the market that has been going on. Alright, so today is the 7th of June and market has become quite sluggish and it's quite slow as of now. As we can see from the last 2 days movement, market is just opening with some sort of a gap down, and basis on that it is only showing the consolidation happening around the same levels that has been tested already, and it's been just respecting the same levels again and again. We are not able to see any kind of a particular directional move as of now in the last 2 days. So market, as you can see in the yesterday's candlestick pattern and the candlestick chart over here, that the market opened around the level of 16,000 16,500 yesterday as well, and basis on that it made a huge red candle, and basis on that we only saw the consolidation. I believe that most of the people are expecting some sort of a sell-off to come, because it's quite evident that the selling is still there. The sentiment, the overall sentiment of the market is on the selling side, and people are expecting the same thing to happen, because the way market actually moved up in the last week with the gap ups, so the huge gap ups, I would say, it did not respect the higher levels, and basis on that we saw a consolidation happen for the initial days, and basis on that just the sell-off came in. And on the other hand, if we see that how exactly the selling is going on, we are only seeing the gap downs, and the gap down happen, and basis on that we only see the consolidation happening around the same levels. So seems out to be like the 16,400 was a level that was respected yesterday. The low was made around the level of 16,450. Most of the people must have been expecting yesterday as well that there is a sell-off that's going to come, and basis on that we can see the level of 16,400 going to get respect once again. But what really happened on the other end is that this market turned up, and basis on that it gave the closing around the level of 16,560 and 570. So what we saw today was quite in such a way that but overall, basis upon the overall market scenario, the SGX Nifty was 0.9 negative, I believe, and basis on that we saw not a huge gap down, just a 100-point gap down, and basis on that we saw the opening around the level of 16,469. So from there we saw the selling came in. So it was quite evident that we were expecting the level, though this particular resistance that was given last time, 16,360, 70, those were the levels that has been tested previously as a good resistance. So what we saw today is that this particular level of 16,350 and 360 is acting as a good support as of now, and market was not able to break those levels. So market respected those levels, and basis on that it made a low of 16,347. It is definitely possible that the people must have been expecting the huge sell-off to come in, but that did not really happen today. We only saw the consolidation. You can see over here that right after after first half we did not see any of the major movement. Market was consolidating just like for 2-3 hours around the same levels. Right after 11:30 we did not see any of the major movement. Market was consolidating around the level of 16,400. So seems out to be like that 400 level is also something which is going to act as a good resistance. If the selling would have to come in, market would have just easily broke all the levels and could have come to the level of 16,350 or 300 is something wherein the market would have gave the closing. So what I believe that basis upon the today's consolidation, market is going to respect this level, and we will not see this particular level to be crossed just easily. So what we can expect from the tomorrow's market, what I've been thinking is that from the 2 days it has been happening in the same way. Just open with a gap up, the consolidation happen. Open with a gap up, just the consolidation is something which is going on. So these two levels, I mean, what I've been thinking is that market is gonna open up with a slight of a gap up for tomorrow. What I've been thinking is that the closing of yesterday and the closing of today. What I've been thinking, the market is going to open around this particular level of 16,500 for tomorrow and going to come again. Let me just do one thing over here. Let me take a brush, and basis on that, what I've been thinking, that these two levels are going to act as a good levels as of now, and we can see the market going to strangle around this particular level. The market is going to open somewhere in the middle of this, then what we can see is that 16,400 is something which is going to act as a good resistance initially, and then market's going to go up, and then we can see some consolidation happening for tomorrow. What I've been thinking, this is something that is going to happen for tomorrow. If the market is going to open up once again with the gap down, then we can see the level of 16,300 is something which is going to be tested once again, and we can see a 100-point rally for tomorrow. I believe that selling is going to happen at least for tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then we can expect the selling for Thursday as well, because tomorrow is going to be definitely, we can get the confirmation from the market that whether the selling has to be there or it's going to just approve and it's going to respect the levels on the lower side. And maybe if the lower levels are going to be respected in the coming days, then we can expect some sort of higher levels being gonna come again. Because if market is not in a mood of taking the levels of on the lower side, then we can see some sort of higher levels gonna come again once again in the market. Because if the selling has to be there, it has to be fast. The selling always works in the faster way. It's the buying which takes time, and the price action is something which we see on the buying market. But talking about the market, if it's on the selling side, it has to be very fast. So if we see the gap down, then we can confirm this thing that the higher levels are something which is not going to come. And if we see the gap down, then we can definitely see a low being made for this week by tomorrow or by this expiry. If there will be a gap up, then we can expect some consolidation happening, and basis on that, 16,400 is something which is gonna being respected once again. And talking about if the market is open on the same level, then yes, again, selling is something which can be seen for tomorrow. So only the gap up is something which is gonna give some consolidation, and basis on that, we can take and we can expect some sort of a halt that's going to happen. So I've been thinking the gap up is not going to be very huge. It's just the level of 16,500 is something which we can see by tomorrow if there will be a gap up. So yes, that's pretty much it about the market, and I'll also explain you what I did for today. So how I did my trade, how the psychology was something which did not work really well for me. I just made a mistake. It was not just a mistake, I would say the stop loss got triggered, but that's absolutely fine. So I made a strangle. Let me show you what the trade that I was taking for today. So I was pretty much sure that the market is because there was a gap down, and I was expecting the level of 16,400 is something wherein the market is going to take some time. So what really happened was that so from the put side, I made a very safe so it was a short strangle that I made for today's trade. So from the bottom side, I made a very safe position wherein I shorted the level of 15,850 and 15,900. So I was thinking that I'm gonna take my trade till the time of expiry, but that did not happen. I just squared off my positions by today itself. So I shorted the level of 15,850 and 15,900, just around like 200 or 250 quantities. And from the higher side, I shorted the levels of 16,900, 850, 800. So it was working really very well, because overall net to net, the today's market was just a consolidation. I was able to capture some really good points, like somewhere around 8-9 points, or I believe that 10 points in total, if I'll say, from the overall trade. So the profit was really amazing. It was around like 2,400 or somewhere around 2,500 net to net today's profit. So yeah, that was the trade that I was taking, and I just squared off my position around 130. So the strangle worked really very well. I booked the profit. So just in the very last moment, around 230 or 245, I was just trying to do a scalping. So what I was trying to do is that, because I was checking the graph of Bank Nifty, even Bank Nifty was something which was giving a consolidation. So what I was expecting is that it's going to give a little bit of breakout and I will be able to capture some really quick points of 10 to 15 from the scalping. So that was the mistake, because I'm an option seller and I don't prefer doing buying or scalping or something like that. I definitely I'm more comfortable in option selling, but just because of fact that I was just thinking that I'm going to be able to capture some easy quick points. So market was around this particular level at that point in time, 34,900. So yeah, so that was the point wherein I was expecting the market to go down a little bit more. So that was around 245. As soon as I saw this particular red candle, I thought that it's gonna give the breakout and the market is gonna be able to reach out the point of 34,800 at least. So I took my entry over here and I saw this red candle. I mean, the candle, initially the trade was going good, but all of a sudden when the market turned up from this particular point, it just respected this particular level and just made a green candle. My stop loss got triggered. Whatever the profit that I earned from my short strangle, it was around 2,500 or 2,600. I booked the loss from this scalping 34. I just took 50 lots. I just took in total of 50 quantity of 34,800 PE. I was trying to have just one red candle, and basis on that I wanted to square off my position. So that trade did not really work very well, and I booked a loss of around 2,000 from this position just by having 50 quantities. So my stop loss got triggered, and whatever the profit that I earned from this position got just nullify with this scalping position. So yeah, that was a mistake because I'm not that much comfortable with scalping, but yes, that is something I was trying today. So overall net to net, I just booked a profit of 500 rupees from my strangle. That was working really very well for today. So for tomorrow as well, I've been thinking that I'll make a position of strangle because the market is not gonna go in a particular direction as of now. So strangle is something which we can expect for tomorrow's market as well, because from the 2 days, I don't think, maybe we can expect some sort of a directional movement at least for tomorrow, because we have been seeing the consolidation happening in the last 2 days. So I don't think it's going to happen for a really long time, and we are close to expiry. So I believe that there will be a directional movement that's going to come maybe by tomorrow or maybe on the expiry day. But yes, that is something we can just think of, and but market is really surprising. So maybe it's going to happen by tomorrow or just the expiry, or maybe on the Friday we see a directional move. But we can only make a prediction and we can only do the analysis. So this is the analysis. We will see that where the market is going to open, and basis on that we will take our trades. So talking about the FIs and DIs data, we have seen net to net selling happening, though the buying was also there, but net to net we can see the selling was strong by the FIs. And talking about the other sectors, so you can see that it was the energy sector which was in green, and the auto sector was also a little bit green. But talking about the other sectors, reality, IT and Nifty was again red, and metal was also down by 0.89%. So that's the reason I believe that Nifty was quite sluggish, was opened with a gap down and also made a closing on the red side. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And what I believe is that there's going to be a small gap up, and basis on that we can see some consolidation happening for tomorrow. Alright guys, so that's it in this video. I believe that you liked the analysis, and thanks for watching the video. See you next time.